Now I am referring to you tax collected but not paid department. Section 76. For information, my dear, in such case, tax collected but not paid department means what? In the invoice tax mentioned. In the invoice tax mentioned but not paid department. In that case, department should issue the notice, show cause notice. There is no time period for issuing show cause notice. Section 76. To recover the tax collected but not paid, has to issue show cause notice, but there is no time period to issue notice. Is clear as sir? That provisions under section 76 now I am presenting in a simplified diagrammatic presentation. GST collected but not paid under the section 76/1, the department can collect. Show cause notice can be issued, no time limit. Important point here. No time limit. No time limit here. Important point. No time limit. To recover the same irrespective of such supply is it taxable or not. Even if by mistakenly you collect the tax on exempted supply, should pay to department. Whether you correct rightly or wrongly, should pay to department. If not paid, show cause notice can be issued without having any time period. So in the lifetime of the department they can issue, is the meaning of that. But once show cause notice is issued, there must be order in original. There is a time limit of 1 year from the date of show cause notice to passing the order in original. Further, officer will determine the amount due after considering the representation of the person, if any. Interest has to be paid in addition to the amount under section 50 of the CGST. An opportunity of being heard shall be granted while the assessee, while hearing by department, is appealed in writing. Please provide to me opportunity of hearing shall be granted where a request is received in writing from such person. Further, within 1 year of issuance of show cause notice should pass the order. However, if the stay order issued by the judiciary, the period of stay order should be coolly excluded while computing 1 year time period from show cause notice. Got the clarity? Very, very simple. Further, show cause notice itself here shall be treated as the recovery notice. Proper officer shall set out the relevant facts in his order based on which he quantify the liability. If the amount collected is something more than what is liable to pay by the assessee, then excess payment can ask for refund under section 54 within 2 years from the date of payment. If not claim refund, that amount will be transferred to Consumer Welfare Fund account. Is clear, sir? A quick recapitulation of section 76. Tax collected but not paid. Should be issued a show cause notice to recover such tax, may be on taxable or exempt as the case may be. Rightly, wrongly collected but not paid can be issued show cause notice to recover. Time limit not there. Further, the assessee requested the officer after issuing the show cause notice, opportunity of being heard in writing should be granted. While paying that, while quantifying the liability to pay under 76, assessee has to pay interest also. Once notice issued, order should be passed within 1 year time period. While passing the order after show notice, if the assessee went for court to get the stay order, In that case, the period of stay should be coolly excluded while computing 1 year time period. Further, the officer should quantify the facts based on which he arrived the liability. If collected excess payment, assessee can ask for refund. If not, that will be go to consumer welfare fund. Is what section 76 in nutshell. Is clear, my dear sir? Further, section 77. This is what, my dear, you are aware of this 77, sir? Actually, IGST paid wrongly, sir. Instead of paying CGST, HGST. Now what shall I do, sir? 77 says that pay now CGST, HGST and claim refund of IGST. Am I liable to pay interest here? No. 77 says. Like that, CGST, HGST paid wrongly instead of payment of IGST. What shall I do, sir? 77 says that pay now the IGST and ask for refund of CGST, HGST. Is clear, my dear sir? Now, further, section 78, initiation of recovery proceedings. It is important, sir. A shoka is not issued, maybe under 73 or 74 or 76, as the case may be, and further pass the order in original. Confirm the demand, you have to pay so much. Assessee received notice, kept in the pocket. Thereafter assessee received order in original, thrown in dustbin. Do whatever you like. Like that, not responded, the department should recover or not? What is the time period within which the department should be recovered the tax due mentioned in the order in original? Means time period to recover the due raised in the order in original is within 3 months from the date of passing the order in original under section 78 of the CGST Act. Department officer feels 3 months time period is much more. In the given assessee, he may be abscond, he may tamper the information, or he may departure from India. Such a type of impression drawn, the recovery procedure can be initiated even less than 3 months also from the date of passing the order. Is clear, my dear sir? With this, we have covered the concept of the tax collected but not paid. Is clear, my dear sir? Continuation from here. Important section, section 79, which talks about recovery of tax. Recovery of tax. Section 79 of the CGST. From whom can be recovered? From a person. From a person. From a person. Which person? Person as defined under the CGST Act. Now listen, my dear sir. Now amendment taken place. Person here includes distinct persons also. See, person also includes distinct person also. How to understand this, sir? Person also includes distinct person. For example, Rafi Academy, Chennai, head office. Rafi Academy, Bangalore, branch office. There are 2 places. One is Rafi Academy, Chennai, Rafi Academy, Bangalore. Distinct person, sir? Rafi Academy, Chennai, not paid the taxes and not in a position to pay the dues. But the branch is a sound person of Rafi Academy, then the department can recover under section 79 the dues of head office of Chennai from Rafi Academy branch office of Bangalore. Yes, can recover from them also. Distinct person. Person includes distinct person. Now referring, a proper officer, see here, proper officer wanted to initiate recovery proceedings of their tax dues, interest penalty. How they can recover? They recover first and foremost, see, first point here, recovery by deducting from the any money owed. Suppose the assessee maybe place the refund claim, for example. Money owed to assessee, from that deduct the tax liabilities. by department, first priority. If that is not there, what next step to recover? Recovery by sale of goods under the control of proper officer. If the department taken a what we can call as the provisional attachment of property, or the goods has been under charge, goods are under charge, in that case that goods sell off to recover the tax dues. Recovery from a third person also be called as garnishee proceedings. Recovery from a third person also be called as garnishee proceedings. For example, sir, listen to me. X Limited, in which Mr. X is the director, that X misappropriated the funds. X is a director of a X Limited, misappropriated the funds, resulting that X Limited being a person under GST not in a position to pay the taxes to department. Department initiated recovery procedure 79. Company says all are losses. Causing the loss by whom? X, who is the director of the X Limited. So X is liable to pay to department the liability of X Limited. Is clear, sir? Now X says that I won't have money with me. I have empty pocket. Department came to know that this fellow, Mr. X, his funds parked in a bank fixed deposit account. Department came to know that, means directly send the notice to the bank manager. Hey, Mr. Bank Manager, you tell me Mr. X has the account in your place? Sufficient. No need to produce any passbook and all. Tell me, Mr. X so and so is having the account in your branch? Yes, sir. Fixed deposit how much? Sir, 2.5 crores, sir. He had company liable to pay 7.5 crores liability. Entire fixed deposit of that Mr. X should be paid to department for their recovery. That means amount will be recovered even from a bank where the X has fixed deposit. Bank says, no, I won't pay to you, I will pay to only Mr. X. Department will say, look Mr. X, Mr. Department, Mr. Bank Manager, look Mr. Bank Manager, if you deny to pay the fixed deposit money of X to department as the dues of the department, we will treat you, though you be bank manager, we will treat you as in default. Meaning what you know? If tomorrow offense has been got convicted with the tax evasion more than 1 crore, less than equal to 2 crores, imprisonment up to 1 year. More than 2 crores, less than equal to 5 crores, imprisonment up to 3 years. These provisions mutatis apply on you also. That is what the garnishee proceeding. So actually bank has no related to, not at all nexus, has no nexus with the department of central tax, but bank manager, bank is liable to pay the dues. Reason, X caused the revenue loss by holding a director position in the X Limited. Supposed to be collect from X Limited, but X Limited incapable to pay. Collect from X. X is a director, has to pay the dues. If the X says his money is from the bank, in the bank, bank has to pay the amount to department. Is clear, sir? Is called as garnishee proceedings under recovery. Further, recovery by a sale of immovable property or movable property called as provisional attachment of property. Sir, if there is a provisional attachment of property, that should be recovered the dues within a period of 1 year from the date of invoking the provisional attachment. Otherwise what happened? That provisional attachment will be automatically released. So if like that any attachment on the property, movable, immovable property of the assessee, department can recover from that property by selling. Recovery further through land revenue authority. What is the provision? The the collector of is collecting taxes as a land revenue. Property tax we are paying to municipalities, corporations is a mandatory to pay. Like that, the department will invoke as recovery of land revenue. If that is also not possible to recover, then the department straightly go to court. Through court, the department initiate recovery. Is clear as sir? This is what section 79, recovery of tax. Further, here I brought your notice. Listen, my dear sir. See, transfer of property void. What do you mean this? After recovery initiated by department, assessor is simply transferring his assets to his wife name, son name, daughter name, son-in-law name, like that. Then assessor says, I am only individual with only my wearing cloth. I am going for liquidation. I may apply for insolvency petition. I may apply. If I apply insolvency petition tomorrow, department can't recover. Therefore, the department says, after initiation of recovery proceedings, if you dispose of your assets to others, that disposal, that transfer, not at all is a transfer, not a legally a valid transfer. It remains your assets only. Further, however, such a transfer of assets still legal, valid, when if the assessee who received the recovery notice from the department, on whom recovery has been initiated by the department, is a very high net worth person. What we are talking about, 7.5 crores only tax GST amount. You know my net worth how much? My net worth is 1,000 crores. Your amount peanut for me. So how can you say that my transfer of property to my beloveds is void? Is it still valid? Because I have sufficient fund to pay off your dues. Further, section 80 of CGST, which talks about 7.5 crores you ask me to pay. That much where I have, sir, to pay. I will pay, sir. Allow me to pay in installments, sir. Allowed. In 24 monthly equal installment allowed. Is clear, sir? Further, commissioner can be grant this type of permission to pay within 24 installments, monthly installments. In case of default of payment any installment, then by the time whatever due left over, fully you have to pay. Further, for seeking the installment facility, you have to apply form GST DRC 20. However, installment is not allowed in the following cases. What are the cases? 1. The taxable person has already defaulted, then next time not allowed. Or in the previous year, here in the preceding financial year, the installment facility approach but not granted. Such a person in the current year also be not allowed installment facility. Or the value of a amount itself less than rupees 25,000, question of installments not allowed. Remember, less than 25 rupees, and again installment, you pay 1,000 rupees, 500 rupees like that or what? So not allowed. So in what are the cases installment facility not allowed? 1. In the case where default taken place while installment making. Any default, no installment facility. Further, preceding financial year, the installment facility not granted to the assessee. In the current year, not allowed. Third case, if the value less than 25,000, the due amount less than 25,000, question of installment does not arise. Is clear, sir? If it is possible, who is the officer, which rank officer is permissible, is competent to grant installment facility to me? As per section 80, Commissioner of Central Tax or Commissioner of State Tax, as the case may be. When I made application form GST DRC 20. Is clear, my dear sir? Further, now referring to here, a simplified manner, can we have assessment of non-filers of return. Assessment of non-filers of return. Why not? Section 62 speaks. First that is covered here, then I will come to 83. First, assessment of non-filers of return. Section 62 speaks. Issue Form GST ASMT 13 within 5 years from the date specified to file annual return for the financial year for which tax not paid. Non-filer of return, it means not pay the tax also, correct? Now understand, GST 3B is there, no? GST 3B, we used to say chalan, payment chalan, but now law made amended, since GST 3 not in place, therefore the law says now GST 3B is no longer chalan, is a return, is a payment GST 3B, now we call it as return, since GST 3 not there. This is amendment. Now, since not file the return, GST 3B, therefore not pay the tax. In which financial year not paid? Sir, 18-19 financial year, sir. 18-19 financial year, annual return due date will be 31st December 2019. So, from 1st January 2022, 5 years time period is there to issue this particular issue the form GST ASMT 13, a particular show cause notice. Please show the cause why should not ask you to pay so much of taxes. 5 years time period is there from the relevant date. Relevant date is date of filing annual return for the given financial year. Further, if registered person furnish the valid return within 30 days from the date of ASMT 13, return means what? GST 3B means paid. By paying the tax interest, the said assessment order shall be deemed to have been withdrawn. If you pay within 30 days. Or I can also be say that ASMT 13 is a show cause come order in original. Show cause come order in original. ASMT 13. If you are coming forward within 30 days from the date of receipt of the ASMT 13 and pay the taxes and dues thereon, treat as goodbye. Then assessment order further withdrawn. So you pay the taxes. So assessment of non-filer of return, well possible. Section 62. Now assessment of unregistered person possible, well possible under section 63. Assessment of, listen my dear sir, assessment of unregistered persons or the person whose registration is cancelled. A person whose registration has been cancelled also be unregistered person. Can we do the assessment for them? Yes. How means how it is? Issue a notice in form GST ASMT 14 and taxable person will be allowed a time limit of 15 days only here to furnish his reply. ASMT 13 30 days time period. ASMT 14 time period only 15 days to reply for unregistered persons assessment. If here issue the assessment order further ASMT 15 within 5 years from the date specified to file annual return for the year for which tax not paid, that you are aware of that. So show cause notice ASMT 14 within 15 days you have to reply, and with that whatever may be satisfaction or whatever may be the facts derived by the department will issue assessment order ASMT 15 over a period of 5 years from the end of the relevant date. Relevant date, the date of filing annual return for the given financial year. Is it clear, my dear sir? ASMT 14 and 15 for assessment of unregistered persons or the person whose registration has been cancelled. Got the clarity, my dear sir? Further, coming to here. Yes. 83, just now referred, provisional attachment of property. Provisional attachment to protect the revenue in certain cases. In what cases provisional attachment takes place means section 62, assessment of non-filers of return. 63, assessment of unregistered persons. 64, summary assessment cases. Summary assessment we referred in the last class, assessment process. 73, show cause notice other than fraud. 74, in the case of fraud, show cause notice. In these cases, section 62, 63, 64, 73, 74 cases, 83 will apply. Provisional attachment. It is to be directed by the commissioner to grant the provisional attachment of the property of the assessee, which may be the any property including the bank account belonging to the taxable person, where the commissioner of central tax, for protecting the interest of the government revenue by order in writing issue form GST DRC 22 to attach provisionally any property, may be movable property, immovable property, which includes bank account of the assessee. How long is valid? Every such provisional attachment shall cease to have effect after the expiry of 1 year from the date of the order made under section 83 subsection 1. These are all merits, my dear sir. A quick recapitulation of section 83. In what is 83 talks about? Provisional attachment of any property, movable, immovable, including bank account. In what are the cases? Non-filers of return assessment, unregistered persons assessment, or summary assessment, show cause notice 73, 74 issues cases. In these 5 cases, provisional attachment takes place by issuing an order from GST DRC 22 by commissioner of central tax or state tax, as the case may be. How long valid? For a period of 1 year, within which to be recovered. Is clear, sir? Otherwise, after 1 year, automatically cease to exist. Which one? A provisional attachment. Is clear, sir? 83. Further referring, my dear sir. Liability in certain cases. Liability in certain cases. What do you mean this? How to understand this? Sir, business transferred, before transfer are liable to pay GST. After transfer taken place, transfer is liable to pay GST. Such a business transfer, not a supply. You are aware of that? Going to be continued with the other person name. So the transferor liability of GST will become transferee liability after transfer. Further, agent principal, agent liability liable to pay by agent, agent liability liable to pay by principal, principal liability liable to pay agent if they are not paid their respective dues. Further, merger, before merger, the respective companies has to pay the liability. After merger, new company liable to pay to department. So liability of the GST cannot able to be evade or cannot able to be wiped out, cannot be mitigated just because of merger taken place. X Limited, Y Limited merged into XY Limited. So liability of X Limited, liability of Y Limited of the department will become the liability of XY Limited after merger. Is clear? In the case of liquidation of a company, company has to pay the dues, or official liquidator who appointed of the company under liquidation should make the payment as a first preferential creditors, first preferential statutory creditors. Official liquidator should pay off. When the directors of a company liable to pay the liability of the company to department means, if private limited company comes into picture, listen here, private limited company comes into picture, company has to pay. If the company not paid, company under liquidation, official liquidator by selling the assets has to pay. If the liability insufficient to pay to department, the assets of the company insufficient to pay the liability to the department, the directors of the private limited company are responsible to pay the liability of the company to department. Repeating in the following manner: X private limited consists of X, Y, Z. Three of them are directors. If the X private limited not paid to department will collect from individual directors. Equally, the liability will apportion equally on the directors. For example, here, this particular X, this particular Y, this particular X, Y. X and Y are indigenous, poor fellows. They won't have money with them to pay. In that case, the entire liability of that company to the department, if the company is unable to pay, directors out of which 3, X and Y, 2 are not able to pay, the third director, Z, is a sound person, wealthy person. He has to pay all dues. Horrible case. Further, partnership of a firm, partnership has to pay. If not, partners are liable to pay equally the liability, irrespective of their profit sharing ratio. Partners equally has to pay the liability. If any one partner is indigent, other partners has to pay off the liability to department. Guardianship or trust, in the given case, the guardian has to pay, or the trustee or the minor of the property, maybe guardian has to pay. Is clear, sir? See, minor also be assessee under GST. You aware of that? Minor also be an assessee under GST. That time, who has to pay the tax means to department on behalf of minor? The guardian. Maybe the parents or maybe the guardian, other than the parents, as the case may be. Court awards, in the case where dispute property, where the property under the control of court, the property supplying some services or supplying the goods, liable to pay department GST. That liability of the dispute property, since under control of the court appointed the awardee. So that award has to be make the payment. Is clear, sir? The court representative has to pay the amount of dues to department of the property which is in dispute. Is clear, sir? Further, death of a taxpayer, legal heirs. Here only have to bring to notice. Death of a taxpayer, listen here. In the case of death of a taxpayer, for example, Mr. X, sole proprietor. He passed away. Then what happened? Sole proprietor, registered person under GST, passed away. Then legal heirs. Here, Mrs. X become legal heir. Legal heir. Who liable to pay GST? They due. Tax due. For example, 12 lakh. Who has to pay 12 lakh tax due? Legal heirs. Legal heirs liable to pay 12 lakhs. Is clear, sir? But legal heir decided to close the business. In that case, how much net worth, to that extent of net worth, the liability can be discharged by legal heirs. Or net worth or the due actual amount, whichever is less. Net worth, assets minus outside liabilities. Net worth came here only, let us say, 8 lakh. Legal heirs due is restricted to 8 lakhs in the event of closure of business. That is, if closure of business, then the liability of the legal heir is only restricted to the net worth or liability, whichever is less. Is clear, my dear sir? Further, dissolution of a firm, HUF or AOP, all members of the firm are HUF liable to pay tax dues. Is clear, my dear sir? Here one more point also I want to bring, partnership of the partners. Listen sir, partnership of the partners. So let us say X and company is a firm. Firm consists of three partners, X, Y and Z. X, Y and Z are the partners. They are the partners. Tax due on, let us say, 1st January 2020. For example, 12 lakh. Tax due how much? 1st January 2020, 12 lakhs. Should be equally liable to pay by X, Y, Z. How much? Each one? 4 lakh, as well as 4 lakh. Is clear, brothers? 4 lakh. As on the day X retired from firm on 1st January 2020, X retired. Then only now continuing how many of them? So his nil, Y, Z are the partners from 1st January. From 1st January 2020, X retired. Is clear, brothers? Thereafter what happened? Till today. Today date what? Today date 25th February 2020, tax due. For example, it became 24 lakh. Then whose due it is? Firm X and company has three partners, X, Y, Z. I am explaining afresh. Tax due of the firm on 1st January 2020, 12 lakhs, equal parties has to pay. From 1st January 2020, X retired. Then, what is the liability of Y and Z means after 12 lakhs, how many here excess is there? 12 lakhs. This 12 lakhs will be due of the Y and Z equally, namely 6 lakhs, 6 lakh. Is clear? 6 lakhs plus already there, 4 lakhs. 10 lakhs of Y, 10 lakhs of Z, 4 lakhs Y, X. When it is possible means only when important points I am referring here. If X informed to department about his retirement, within 30 days of event occurred, means retirement occurred, then the liability of the partners will be 4 lakh, 10 lakhs, 10 lakhs. Is clear, sir? If the department not received intimation from X about his retirement, then what happened? That excess of 12 lakhs from 1st of January to 25th of February, the 12 lakhs also again apportioned equally among the three. Got the clarity, my dear sir? Any difficulty in the given case, sir? All of you got it, sir? With this, liability in certain cases we have been covered. Is clear, sir?